Okay, so today's lesson is a mini project of HTML web page. Our question of the day, how can I use HTML to express a personal value? So we're going to start to think about what our actual website that we're going to create is going to be about, and hopefully it has something to do with you. First, let's do one of these reviews. So I'm going to pick this one because I like debugging things. So I'm going to click on one, debug tag. You can pick up any of those four ones here. And it says that the P tags or paragraph tags are placed around text to indicate it's part of a paragraph. So now we're just going to look to see where did it mess up. So as I'm looking over here, it says, why do birds fly to warmer climates in the winter? Well, this is what I've noticed, and maybe you picked it up too. Given some time so you could solve the C. We, of course, need to have the slash not there in the beginning, but at the end. And then it makes sense for that to work right over here. Same thing happened over here. We need to put it at the end instead. And now we have it fixed. We can move on to the next one. So I'll just finish that just to move along, but you are definitely recommended to go through and do your own thing. This one is create a bulleted list. So this is just like a new tag that we can add lists to our web pages, which is kind of cool. So you can do an unordered list or you can do an ordered list. So I'm going to try to just do a bullet one over here. Let's see how that one goes. It says, look how the given code creates an unordered list and create your own list of desserts. So this is breakfast food, cereal, eggs, waffles. And now we need to do the same thing. So what I could do is I could copy and paste this into here. It could make my life easier, except, of course, the fact that these are not desserts. But I could just replace them with what they are. So I like pie. I like cookies. And I like ice cream. Now, notice, though, what is actually happening here. It's UL, which stands for an unordered list. And then it just has LI stands for the list that's going on there. And then it just has it bookmarked right there. But you want to make sure that you don't have the slash there, that you have it at the end, and it's in order like this with the UL there. That's the opening of the unordered list, and here's the closing of it. And then now everything makes sense over here. So I can finish that. I can try to go back over here for an ordered list. An ordered list is like an unordered list, but it has numbers. So you use the OL tag instead of UL. So now we can structure this into an ordered list. So how would we go about doing that? Remember, we use OL in the beginning, and then at the end, we end it by that. And did that work? No, it did not. So let's see an example of working code. That's why. We need to have the actual steps there. So let's do that. Let's put this in here. We have to put LI for each individual step. And at the end here, we go slash LI. Oh, 2 extra slashes. Wrong slash. All right, now we got it. You really have to make sure it's right. So now we go over here. Now, step 2 would be here. We, of course, go LI. And then I have to make sure that I end it the same way. And then now it all works. Notice it didn't work until I did all of those steps right there. But once I did, now I have an ordered number right there. So I can finish that. I can move on to the next one. All right, so what are we doing here? It says you should add HTML to your page. Add HTML to make the page you sketch in your project guide. I didn't ask you to do this yet. Instead, I just want you to think about what will go here. What are we actually going to do? So you should add the HTML to your page. So if you click on this, add HTML, it adds it right there. Add HTML. So what do we want to be in the body right over here? we could do something like, let's say that my website is going to be tips for hiking. Put that in the body. Tips for hiking. Now, let's remember the different things that we've learned throughout the way, right? We've remembered how we can do a heading for this one. So I can do H1, and you can actually click on it if it pops up, and I'll fill that in for you. Then we can end it. Right? And because we want to have our heading maybe look different, maybe I want to take that out and put it here instead. So that's at the top, tips for hiking. Now we can make like a little list right here. We could do something like, I could do the ordered list. Remember, I just learned how to do that, right? OL, and then I can do LI, and then I'll say, let's see, one can be bring a map. LI could be buy good hiking shoes. Always bring enough water. And then at the here, so I open the list, I close the list, but now I have to close the ordered list. And then now that worked, right? So now everything works the way I wanted it to. Click on finish to go to the next thing. Review your page. Just then it says to check that your page has everything you want. Again, we're just messing around on this one. We're just making sure that it had sense on there. So if I look down here, these are other websites that I've made in the past. This one says my favorite subjects. This is obviously an unordered list. If I wanted to, I could instead have this be in an unordered list. So if I'm not mistaken, the unordered list had some extra things in there that I totally forgot. So I'm actually going to look back to see where I messed up on that one. So if I look back here at the tags, this is a great way to look back to see. So it says unordered list. I know I messed up somewhere. So let me just check to see what I messed up on. I needed to open every single one with the LI again. And I forgot to do that. So I can just make sure that I go back and take care of that now. So on this one, instead of it being P, I can instead have it be LI, and then have this one be closing. And then now it all makes sense, right? So just a couple ways to play around with this, right? You want to make sure that the content is there, that the structure it correctly, and that if it's all organized, readable, not full of bugs. So I'm happy with this one right over here. You can look to see other things that I've done, right? Tips for hiking, that showed up before. Some of my favorite hikes that I've ever done is listed there. And you can see how in this one, it's an unordered list. This one is an ordered list. This one, I didn't put any kind of it is a list, but I didn't do either of those things. So this is one I might want to spend some more time fixing up. All right, so this is just some examples right here. I obviously love hiking, so mine is about that. Think about what you want your personal expression of your website to be. You've got to keep it simple, right? We're not changing the world in this particular class. Maybe you could take these skills and do something great outside of this class, but we're going to keep it simple to have a website that is achievable in this class. And that's it.